The Pissed Off Barber, or TPOB, versus Chris Basio. If you've been paying attention for any amount of time over the last couple of weeks, their interactions have been intensified, I'll say. They are over the top. And, in my opinion, I'm gonna give two parts of that opinion. One, they're businessmen and they are doing good business. And here's what I mean by good business, because some people will say, well, TPOB is disrespectful and or Chris Basio got played out of character. Listen, let's stop all of that. Let's pay attention to the fact that, or just know and realize that either way you look at it, both of these camps, TPOB and 245, they both made money off of this situation, right? They both made money off of this situation. And you can't take that away from them. It's just good business. Whether they're holding to their sides of the argument, right? And there has been receipts shown and things of that nature, whatever. But they're both holding to their side of the business, the situation, and you just have to keep that in mind. Now, I really want to say this. I want to talk about how Chris Basio moved and the 245 crew moved in a better way, in my opinion, than TPOB. Now, if you pay attention when the beef kind of erupted on social media, if you pay attention to it, right, you could clearly see that Chris Basio was frustrated, right? And so because he was frustrated, his hand got a little forced. And this is what I mean. When Chris Basio enters in the 245 crew, enters into this argument, right? He enters in, he says his piece, and then on top of that, he has something to sell in this situation, right? Now, 245 is known for their shave gel and their products that they have, and they're charging mats and stands and things like that, right? That's what they're known for. They're also known for education. So Basio goes in and enters into this upset, right? Visibly, clearly upset. And he says, all right, this guy, whatever, I've got a course. We were working on it. We were going to put it out later. But what we'll do is pre-orders. If anybody has studied anything about business and things of that nature, he took a playbook and they played it to the T. Understand, they played this to the T. They had a product that fit the situation and they played it to the T. It wasn't ready yet, but it was already a product in the workings. So he said, you know what? I'm going to put a nominal fee on it. I'm going to put $10 on it, right? $10 on this. And that's just what we're going to do. We're going to just put $10 on it and call it a day, right? Put just a nominal fee, right? You still got to wait on it, but I'm just going to put a nominal fee on here for you guys. So he puts $10 on there. because he knew that the attention from this situation was going to pull his camp and pull the TPOB camp, right? And he's going to stay in the headlines of he's going to stay in the barber algorithm high in there for a while because he knew that, right? He said, "I'm gonna put this $10 product out that I've been working on and everything like that. Let's see if it's and I don't know if this is the conversation that he really had, but let's just say it was. Put this $10. I'm gonna put this product out as $10. It should normally be $300, right? And so what is he doing with that? Right? He told you I got this $10 product. This is an information sales business like upside. I got this $10 product. It's valued at $300. So already you feel the consumer feels like, all right, they're getting a deal, right? I'm gonna get $300 worth of information for $10. Why he chose the $10 price tag, don't know. Don't really care. I'm just saying, pay attention to the way that he operated. So he puts it out, right? And within an hour or so, he'd already sold 700 pre-orders. So he's already made sorry. He's already made $7,000 off of a situation where he was, like I said, visibly distraught. But he played it smart as a businessman. Right? Now, let's look at the other side of TPOB. Now, if I'm not mistaken, TPOB did try to counter some of this information, but he didn't have a course. He didn't give anything away. He just tried to give some game away for free. Right? He didn't say there was any value to it. He didn't say anything like that. He just tried to give some game away for free. In the midst of bashing Tune 45 and Chris Bosio, right? So it's like free information, bash Chris Bosio, free information, bash Chris Bosio. So he sandwiches it with all of these things. Now on the other side, you look at Tune 45 and Chris Bosio. Chris Bosio addresses the situation, gives value by saying, "Hey, look, here's the pre-order. I'm gonna give you everything that I taught my first student." That's what he calls Tune 45, or TPOB. He said, "I'm gonna give you everything that I taught my first student," right? Which, whether you believe it or not, if he's making the claim that that TPOB was his first student, if he's making that claim, then guess what? That claim, if he's making that claim like he is, then that allows for people within his camp to say, okay, well, I'm watching TPOB and they seem to be successful. Even if I don't like his antics, he seems to be, it seems to be high talk in the barber community. So I'm watching him. He seems to be successful. He's living in Dubai, so on and so forth, right? And you say, oh, okay, 245, you gave this guy these skills. You gave this guy this information. He took that information and he was able to do, boom, X, Y, and Z with it, right? And now he's able to live in Dubai with a Rolex and all that kind of stuff. Listen, people get it confused, and it's a crazy idea, but people think, right, it's all people do things, get into business, do all of these sorts of things for the idea of changing their status, especially your first business typically is about, hey, I am trying to change my status. I'm trying to go from an employee to a boss. I'm trying to be my own boss, right? Trying to be my own boss. That's what they're doing. All right. So again, TPOB layers the little bit of information that they give out. They layer it with trash talk, right? Hell, you can do this too. I don't really care about Basio. He's stupid. He's da 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 da. It's kind of like a fifth grader, right? It's like a fifth grader beefing over, who's better at basketball. Like, it's really irrelevant in a sense, but people are going to pay attention because for some reason humans love negativity. They do. Humans love negativity, and it is what it is. I can't change that. That's just what it is. Again, like I said, on the other side, Chris Basio and his team, the 245 team, they functioned in a very different manner, right? Did they address it? Yes, they addressed it with, I feel like, some dignity, right? They didn't stoop so low. They addressed it, and Chris kept it very high and very, he kept it professional. He dipped a few times where I was like, ooh, I wouldn't say that. Ooh, that's a little rough. But at the same time, he always countered the dip with, listen, guys, like, he's not discrediting this man he's not discrediting the TPOB for whatever it is that they've done. He's not doing any of that stuff. He's just saying, like, look, we helped him. We helped him put this together. Right? And whether everything he says is true or not, like, he did show some receipts, just like TPOB showed some receipts, but I feel like he moved from a higher ground, right? He moved from a higher ground of morality than TPOB did, right? And he addressed some of those things, like saying that Clipper companies are ripping you off. Okay, I mean, they might be, right? They might be. And then, oh yeah, and then he sprinkled in that game about he didn't even let it kind of bother him. Then he talked about the affiliates and what these major companies should be doing. And then he broke it down and showed these numbers. So he stayed on his platform of educating, and TPOB stayed on his platform of being a trash talker. That's just what he did. They stayed within their platforms in the lanes that they developed, right? Every good needs an evil. Every evil needs a good. Because otherwise, there has to be two sides to the situation. If there is no two sides to it, then guess what? If there's no two sides to it, then you don't have to. Then there's only one side, and it doesn't give for the whole thing of like free will and things of that nature. So I find it very interesting, this debate, this beef that's going on. I'm interested to see how it plays out in the end. I really am. I'm really interested to see how it plays out in the end. It's been a very, very interesting setting, and I will say this, right? 245 came out with an educational product. TPOB talked trash and just sold more of the product that they already had. Right? And I don't know what I don't know. The way I feel about educational products, right? Educational products to me sometimes are much more beneficial than tools to complete it, right? And an educational product can be updated, changed, whatever. Even if it's outdated, right? Even if an educational product is outdated, it works on your mindset. It works on your ideals. It gives you a place to start from, right? So I like the educational product counter to what TPOB has said. I really do. I think it's great, right? I think TPOB continuing to push these products is cool. That's his lane. That's what he's doing. But I've seen a lot of people talk about that his clippers aren't lasting, right? And I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed. Like you're sitting here bashing and talking and doing all this kind of stuff. And again, like, hey, if TPOB decides to listen to this, dog, I'm not saying what you're doing is bad. I'm just telling you, like, hey, let's address some of the customer service stuff. Let's address some of the manufacturing stuff, the longevity stuff. Let's not Dollar Tree it out. And you may not be familiar with that. I don't know if the UK has a Dollar Tree or not, or a dollar store. Like, let's not just keep pushing these out and saying, hey, I'm going to push out these products, and if you only used it for 3 months, you made your money back in a haircut or two. I don't think that that's right. I don't think that that's right. And so you're saying, you said that these industries, these big companies are ripping people off. But I mean, I've had clippers for quite a few years, right? And I see a lot of people saying, hey, 3 months, 6 months, they weren't operating the same. Do I feel like that might have been, some user error? Sure. But do I also feel like that's something that you should address? Sure. Could you be addressing it and just not publicly? Also a thing. But I don't know. Either way, I want people in the audience of this situation to understand, whatever side that you take, whatever choice and decision that you make, understand this. They both made money, and they will both continue to make money if they operate their businesses correctly. Can I say there's a winner and a loser? No. Can I say that one operates on a higher level than the other in a morality sense? Yes. They just can. I feel like TPOB is pretty childish and a lot of stuff that he does. Now, is that really the person that he is? I don't know. But as far as this character that he plays on the internet, it's childish. It's very childish. But it's put money in his pocket. So do I see him stopping anytime soon? No. No, I don't. I honestly see him kicking it up even more and getting with some people who match his brand, and they kick it up even more. But do I feel like at a certain point the villain is going to have a change of heart? Probably so. I do. That's just me. That is just me. But either way, guys, TPOB, Tune 45. Who you got in longevity? Who's gonna last? I don't know. We'll see. Guys, have a wonderful night. We'll catch you tomorrow.